When you're a rapper, there are certain expectations put upon you from the outset. No, not in terms of music in this case, though obviously those exist, but rather in regards to the look you have. Many rappers are expected to try and stand out from the crowd. That's why they have big and weird names or try and dress a certain way. But this logic also applies to the bling that rappers buy to make themselves really shine, and not always in a good way. Some of their jewelry is just wrong. Allow us to show you the dumbest jewelry rappers actually bought. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Jigsaw Pendant 6ix9ine. When it comes to 6ix9ine, he's never someone to go halfway. After all, this was the guy who was willing to snitch out everyone who ever meant something to him just to get a lesser prison sentence, despite stating over and over again that he was hardcore. Just saying, he's a jerk. And when it comes to his bling, it very much reflects his tainted view of things. In this case, we're talking about how he wears a pendant that's not just diamond encrusted, but shaped like Jigsaw from the Saw films. Yes, you heard me right. 6ix9ine bought a fancy necklace/pendant of a horror movie villain, and he wears it around like it's one of the coolest things on God's green earth. When, honestly, it's a stupid thing to have modeled into a necklace. Now sure, I'm sure some fans of the Saw franchise will admit the man known as Jigsaw wasn't technically a villain. He was just trying to help people live their best lives and tired of seeing wasted potential. But instead of reaching out to them and guiding them on the path of self-fulfillment, he instead put them in a twisted game that would end up torturing them, mutilating them, and many times killing them. But to 6ix9ine, it's a symbol of trying to be better and all that. We personally think he loves the pendant because it's symbolic of how the world thinks he's a villain, and he is, but the truth says otherwise. Number 7. Slick Rick's massive chain. With more gold than Richie Rich and Mr. T combined, Slick Rick helped pioneer the culture of excess that would come to define hip-hop. As far back as the mid-80s, the man otherwise known as MC Ricky D wore countless necklaces and rings, often with an actual crown. But none of this measured up still to his Justice Scale medallion. Larger than his actual face, this glorious accessory would eventually take on a whole new meaning after Slick Rick was sent to jail when he pled guilty to 2 counts of attempted murder, along with numerous other charges too. The reason this one is dumb is infinitely simple. Look at the size of it. That's a massive chain attached to a massive pendant. And you know that thing isn't light at all. Oh, and it cost $250,000 to make. Granted, it would be hard to steal because of its size and presumed weight, but the opposite side of that is that by wearing this, you all but guarantee that people know you have wealth on you in some fashion. That chain and pendant is literally a target on your back, or front in this case. Number 6. Kid Bling, Lil Baby. Lil Baby went to the legendary Icebox jewelry store and bought himself a watch and a necklace. But not for himself. Rather, he bought a watch and a blinged out necklace for his 5-year-old son. That's right, he spent, according to reports, about $33,000 on the 2 items together for his 5-year-old son, who probably doesn't even understand what it means to have an item like that. Now, I'm sure some of you out there will be like, but it's symbolic. He's trying to ice out his son to make him stand out like his dad, which is a line of thought to be had, sure. But it's also incredibly dumb to think like that, not the least of which is because he's a kid. Do you think for 1 second that he honestly cares about that kind of stuff? That he cares about how blinged up he is? Plus, since he's a kid and doesn't know its value, he could break it. He could give it away to a friend who likes it, and so on. It's dumb to give something so valuable to a kid when you honestly don't know what that kid will do with it. If the kid was a teen, that would at least be understandable in some right, but he's 5. Be a better person here, man. Not that hard. Then again, considering rappers' IQs at times, let's move on. Number 5. Diamond Teeth, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne decided to be a very special kind of idiot when he opted to get diamonds in his teeth back in 2009. It was a costly operation for the rapper, who reportedly paid $150,000 to have all that work done. At the time, Wayne was on top of the world and the most popular rapper in the industry. so it's no surprise that he was cashing in all his paychecks. And to be clear here, this wasn't just a kind of brace. They really had to go and surgically put in the diamonds. It took a jeweler and a dentist to figure out how to do this, all because Lil Wayne decided that his teeth weren't blinged up enough. Of course they're not. They're teeth. They're not supposed to be blinged up unless it's a pimped out mouth guard, which, yes, some rappers have gotten. Mysteries of life. Mysteries of life. Number 4, remote control Lamborghini chain, Soulja Boy. No, you didn't misunderstand me. Soulja Boy, during the height of his power and fame, got himself a remote control Lamborghini chain, and he bragged about it to the high heavens. Now, you might be thinking, who cares? It cost him, what, $200, $500, maybe $1,000? How about $200,000? Yeah, that remote control Lamborghini chain cost him $200,000 on a car chain that you can RC. Why would you risk driving an RC neck chain when it could get damaged and ruined very easily, especially since this particular RC is very small? The amount of stupidity here is so grand, and yet we bet Soulja Boy was feeling like Superman when he got it. Do you see now why rappers get a bad rap because of the things they do? It's because of items like this. Number 3, ice pick chain, Method Man. Long before custom jewelry became the norm in hip-hop, Method Man commissioned this unique piece of bling, which the TSA apparently refused to let through security one time on account of its deadly potential. As an esteemed member of the Wu-Tang Clan, Method Man has laid down some killer rhymes over the years, so it makes sense that he'd wear a killer chain too. But it's still stupid, for various reasons in fact, not the least of which is that it's technically a weapon, as the TSA proved, and it's not exactly striking, it's honestly a bit low-key. You'd think that someone like Method Man would go for more substance instead of shock value. Number 2, Lil Jon's Crunk Ain't Dead chain. There was a time when Lil Jon thought that he would reign supreme over the rap industry until the rest of his life. Little did he know that the crunk era would barely last a few years before the scene moved on to the latest trends. Lil Jon was everywhere in the mid-2000s, dropping multiple hits every year. He featured alongside the most popular rappers at the time and became one of hip-hop's highest-paid figures. As the self-claimed pioneer of crunk music, he took great offense to some, claiming that the genre was dying. Lil Jon decided to counter the doubters by purchasing a very costly chain of $500,000 that read, "Crunk Ain't Dead." As it turned out, Lil Jon was wrong, and crunk would die soon afterwards. So not only did he buy an expensive chain, but one that was truly ridiculous and delusional and false. We bet he sold it afterwards because it would be too painful of a reminder of how wrong he was and how his vanity cost him $500,000. Number 1, Marilyn Manson chain, Lil Uzi Vert. We can't even with this one. In an industry fueled by swagger that verges on arrogance, it's fascinating to see a relative newcomer like Lil Uzi Vert pay homage to another artist on one of the most expensive chains, particularly one who doesn't even work in the realm of hip-hop. Still, it's easy to see why Marilyn Manson might appeal to the rapper's own dark side. We wouldn't be surprised if Uzi pushed his accountants to the edge as well, with the cost of this chain that totals up at nearly $250,000. There's so much wrong with this chain, it hurts. First off, it looks weird. Second, Manson looks like the Joker. While he's, for some reason, wearing a Mickey Mouse hat, why is he wearing that hat? We don't know. That's the problem. What did we do to deserve having to look at this incredibly dumb chain? So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at rappers who went and spent their money on jewelry in various ways, and look like total idiots as a result? Which of these rappers do you feel the baddest about in terms of the bling that they got? Can you believe they wasted their money on things like this? Do you know of other rappers who went and bought some really dumb bling? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.